Yeah, we do, Carol.
What's that name of what's the name of that chewing gum? Double mint, double your pleasure.
There you go. I remember double mint gum.
You do? Hey, John, I'd like to go to the roadmap software.
Okay.
Put in, if you will, uh, okay, circle Genesis forward on Tesla.
Genesis is that white bar right here.
Yeah, everybody see it? Okay. And if you will, Jonathan, post that trade over in the Telegram channel.
All right, we gotta pick it out here. It's a Tesla trade for the Genesis folks. It's out to July 18th.
Yep.
You're looking for a 5 wide paying about how much?
I would pay more than 220.
Okay. That'd be the 350, 355. We do have that in the Moonlight program too. So those in the Moonlight have it already. Good
Well, don't
trade.
do the same one, do a different expiration date if you can find it.
Okay, scratch all that. You've got June 27th, July 18th, or August 15th.
Uh, do it August 15th. I'll go out that far.
Okay, so you're 5 wide for August 15th. Same strikes, 350, 355.
This will be in the Genesis room. Why don't you just post it there and we'll move on?
Work on it.
For my Genesis players. And come back, we've got some other to talk about. Hey, Peter. Hey, Phelps.
Who are you targeting, Tom?
269.
All right, that trade has been posted to the Genesis Telegram channel.
Perfect. All right, let's look at Pony. That was a stock we identified with the Genesis software. Put Pony in there. What was the top of that? If that doesn't sell you on Genesis, I don't know what else does. I've never traded Pony before until now. Pretty strong. And we also identified CoreWeave as one of the top stocks. Does everybody see the power of this Genesis? Tell me you're getting it now with me giving you sort of, hey guys, would you like to be notified electronically this is happening? I'm just saying. Just open your eyes to why I want you to have this tool now. Now, Jonathan, let's take a short 4-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the TQQ, SQQ. Okay?
Okay, 4 minutes.
Todd used his Genesis and got in on Pony at 1855. It's now at 1923. Way to go, Toddy. Nice trade. All right, folks. Has anybody ever heard me say, if you don't know what to do and the market's going up, what you ought to buy? Anybody ever heard me say that? Yeah, and I think you'd be surprised. You know, there's no commission trading it. So let's look at the TQQ. The question I would ask you is, what does Genesis say in the TQQ? You should be long or short the TQQ. Everybody see that? Now, if you want to do options, you look over at 7 o'clock white bar over there to the left, and that high is 71 what, Jonathan? What is it? What's that high?
I got it as a high of 71.28.
71.28. So if you want to do options, you got to get it higher than that. But you can buy the stock and see if it trades up there and probe it and then add to it if it goes above that. So the question you ask yourself is, what's the direction of the market? Well, the direction of the market right now, since Genesis is up, but how high does it need to really go where you're sitting here and you're saying, hey, we're going to make some new highs? Well, all you got to do is look at the high of the 24 hours on the E-mini, which was what, 54 or 59.90, right, Jonathan? There was the high right there, 59.93. So if you look at the E-mini, you got to clear that little clump there at 7. How high is that? 75?
Yeah, that's 75. Yep, exactly.
And if it did, I'd probably think, based on this time of day, it's going to go up and test the 90. You probably could get in and out of some options if that happened. You got above that. Okay. Now, if it took out the 59.93, then you really got a horse to ride. Okay. And so you look at several stocks that have been leading, okay, like CoreWeave would be one. And Tesla would be another. They look like CoreWeave looks to me like it's approaching its high. Let's see if it takes it out. But you look at all this together, and it tells you really, do you just buy TQQ or do you buy the options? Okay. But I would wait until I took out that high 71 or so, 71, 10, 15, 20 on TQQ before I did options. But I'd be long the TQQ, and I am long the TQQ. Does everybody understand why I would go from a stock to an option? Jonathan, what is the high of the day on the TQQ?
So the cash market high, we just made it 71.16. The pre-market
Yeah.
high was 71.29.
Yeah, and that probably happened last night. Is everybody aware of this trade, TQQ, SQQ trades 24 hours? Everybody aware of that? Does everybody here know how to trade TQQ, SQQ at night? Okay, you got the changeover is EXTO with swap, EXTO. That's how you do it. Stan asked, why would I use the stock versus an option? Well, with the option, you put up less money, okay? With a stock, you got to put up whatever it costs you to buy it.
Also, what Tom was saying earlier about he wouldn't think about options until we make a new high. The reason why is right now they're not going to be pricing up the options very good for you if you're long. But if we start making new highs, then they'll start pricing up the options. And that's when you want
this afternoon.
Right. Kind of read between
So,
there.
and that's a judgment call. You got a market that you should be long, but you got to have momentum in that market, especially if you're buying call options. That's the point I'm trying to make. No, it's EXTO trades from after the close all the way to the next morning, EXTO. Now, I'll tell you, a drawback to Tasty Trade is you can only trade futures on Tasty Trade around the clock. You can't trade stocks around the clock. As I always say, they got banker's hours over there for stocks. Who here attended the class that I offered? I think it was back in 2022 on the TQQ, SQQ. Anybody remember that class? When it seemed like every day was a down day? That was a good class, wasn't it? Now, let's go to the secret weapon inside the roadmap. Let's plug in some of the tickers that I've been talking about.
I'll start with CoreWeaver.
By the way, CoreWeave just made a new high.
Tesla,
Pony.
Pony, all along.
Now, I'll tell you about Pony, folks. I've never traded before, and I probably wouldn't hold that stock overnight. I might trade it intraday. Why wouldn't I hold it overnight, Pony? Why would I not? too much risk. It also is from China, right? I wouldn't hold that overnight. I might trade it intraday, but I wouldn't trade it overnight. Okay, let's see. Put Dave in there. I hadn't talked about Dave today. Anybody ever traded Dave? All right, let's see. Put Dave in there. Put Google in there. See if Google doing. Google. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the secret Epson. See if we got anything else over here on my watch list. MSTU, put it in there. MSTU. How about HMY? Somebody just made some money with Dave with their MTI. Way to go. See, the cash stocks, I made this comment at TNT. The cash stocks are really bidding up pretty nice, aren't they? Now we just started RB4, 130 to 2. So let's go back to the roadmap compass chart. And let's sort of identify what's going on today, okay? The way you do that, you look at the top of Genesis. What was the top of Genesis, Jonathan?
I got 59.66.
And that's exactly about where it is, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, 65, 66. So this 30 minutes is going to help us either write our own ticket or we need to go the other way. Put TQQ in there. TQQ. Look at minutes. Look at TQQ. What's the top of Genesis there? The QQQ is outperforming the SPY today.
Yep. 70.89. We're above it.
For TQQ?
Yes.
Yeah. See the top of those, here's what you got to learn when you're reading the compass chart. And you got to ask yourself the following questions. What's the top of the preceding reference bar or the low of the preceding reference bar? In the case when you're above it, you want to know the top. And then if it breaks down even further, you got to bring in the low of that bar. In that case, it's 70.44, which if I was long, which I am, I wouldn't want to see the TQQ go below, say, 70.39 in the current situation. Gold's had a good move today, hadn't it? 32.85 on GLD. Okay. What does it look like on the compass? What's that high? 208, 302.80?
Yep, that's it. 302.80 from this morning.
It's about to take out the high of the day. All right. I'm doing great, Art. Doing great. The question you ask yourself is today a digestion day? I can't answer it because we're right in between. All I can tell you, CoreWeave's not having a digestion. Put CoreWeave in there. Look at that. We're about to go into a buy signal on CoreWeave here on RB4. Wow. If it goes up after RB4, then you'd look to the low of RB4 as your risk if you bought the stock. Carol, I don't know. I don't see him on TV. Uh, Jonathan, explain to Rob and everybody else who CoreWeave is.
Good CoreWeave. Well, what we can do with the roadmap is we can click this little icon at the top right here. And if we click on that, take me to a Yahoo Finance page where I can click on profile. Scroll down and real little description about them. They're a cloud platform, scaling support, acceleration for Gen AI. And then if you want to do this, normally just copy and paste the name of the company and search for that. And you can go to their website. It says the AI hyperscaler for GPU cloud computing. Take someone smarter than me to tell you all the details, of course, of that, but they're involved in AI. That's the big point here.
Evidently, they're hot, hot, hot. You know, I bought it at 55, got out at 58. I said, man, that's a nice, my son gave me that. And, you know, I thought that's pretty good. Claire says she likes my Magic 5. She bought IBIT, IBIT, making a little change. See, I used to really, want to know everything about these tickers. Then I changed my mind, I guess, in the last 10 years where I don't really care about the ticker, what they do anymore. I like sectors of tickers, and then I like tickers that pay. And so if you go look at the tickers that I'm using, odds are, and you go look at what we closed out this month, a lot of those tickers are different different strategies around those tickers. Now, saying all that, I like to trade the SPY, the QQQ, XSP. I like to trade TQQ, SQQ, those five for sure. I'm not much of a Russell trader. I've never fit my style, I guess, or whatever. But I make a little money here and there, but not like in those other ones. So I always try to stay with what's paid. Okay. In the Bitcoin era, Mara was one of my favorite stocks to trade back in the day. Then I moved on to Riot. It was a favorite. Then I moved on to BitTo. Y'all were all part of that BitTo run. And I've used iBit from time to time, and MSTU was one of my favorites. So I float around in that sector, okay? And I do that because some stocks are at different patterns of where they become easier to pass at least resistance. Tesla, first started trading Tesla back during the decline because everybody had it in their portfolio, and they were asking me about what to do with it. I said, well, to below the monthly open, I wouldn't own it. That stock went, I think, to about 95, if I remember correctly, what that low was. And I traded it a couple times off that, but generally speaking, it didn't become a primary until probably the last couple years. That's Tesla. I like Tesla after trading as much as I have. But Palantir, I told you the story of Palantir. I really liked Palantir last year, okay? And Palantir really took my money. I didn't like that, so I quit trading it at the end of the year. It finally broke out, started going higher. I came back to it this year, and this year, looking at what I've done with Palantir, I've been perfect. And that's what I do. If they take my money, I back away, study it, and then I come back maybe in a better pattern or whatever. Boy, it was taking me out to the woodshed last year a lot, Palantir. I just didn't have its trade style down. Okay, when it's down there at 60 and 70 and 80. But I watched it. I kept watching. Now I feel very comfortable when I trade Palantir. Boris asks, what's the risk of selling a put spread? Well, let's just look at it, Morris. CRWV, Jonathan, do we have any puts in the near term?
CRWV offers weekly expirations.
Mm-hmm.
And they offer one wide spread. So if you sold a one wide spread, whatever premium you receive.
Okay, let's just assume, I'm not doing this, but let's assume we sold a 94.93 put spread expires this Friday.
And that's marked at, it's pretty wide, but it's marked at 60 cents midpoint. I don't know if you get
94,
that.
huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about today with the CrowdWeaver or CoreWeave options are a little illiquid, so it's marked at 60 cents midpoint. I doubt you get that, but that's okay for the case of this example. If you sold a one wide spread for 60 cents and got $60 of premium up front, your risk is 40 cents or $40 because the spread's 1 point wide.
What if you did a 92.91?
For the 92.91, they have that one marked at 55 cents midpoint again. Not sure if you get that, but that's what it's marked at.
What about a 90.89?
The 90.89 is marked at 45 cents.
Okay, so generally speaking, when I see something priced this way, I just soon sell the one closest to where it's trading, because once this stock turns down, it's going to fall. Okay, so put a daily up there on CrowdWeave. Daily. down to 82. What's an 82.81 for this Friday?
The 82.81 right now, they have marked a midpoint of 20 to 25 cents or so.
Okay, so 25 cents. So day is what day? Day's Wednesday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So I would probably, Morris, it depends. Do you want to buy it at 82? I would go in if I did it with the idea I'm willing to buy it. What is a straight put if you just sold the put with that idea? How much would they pay you just if you sold the 82? Like I was going to acquire the stock Friday.
It's about 95 cents to $1.
I'd probably want to do more contracts and do 82, 81. Because if you do more contracts, you got downside protection. That'd be my choice. Okay. Everybody had to make their own decisions, but that's pretty cool. That's a nice story there, Mark. Look what Mark just said.
I've been. Good time. You coming back at 3 this afternoon?
I don't think I am. Let me check my schedule. Nope. 2. We'll end it at 2, and then we'll be done to tomorrow when I'll be at 3 on the daily. So if you like what we're doing with these, I call it spot training, spot trading and everything. If you like what we're doing, I got to hear from you. Send an email to tg@DTI Trader. And if you haven't joined, we're really trying to put the dog on with our weekly side hustle, not weekly side hustle, our weekly newsletter. Might post that link in there for people that had joined. That thing is really exceeding the customer's expectations. I guess so for $9.99, $9.99.
Yeah, let me dig that up.
One of the clients said, Tom, they charged me $9.99. I thought I was paying $999. What a deal. Anyway, send an email to tg@DTI Trader. Let me hear from you, because the more I hear from you, the more I want to do this stuff, because this is really work to sit here and do this. And I hope you got a lot out of it. And I hope those that don't have Genesis will have it by the end of the day. Why don't you go through that for everybody, Jonathan?
The T-Buzz weekly trade letter is a great snapshot on the market every Monday afternoon after the market closes. You have 5 to 6 sections to focus on. One's a broad market, where you get an update on, what the markets are doing for the year, for the month, for the week, and a snapshot of what Tom's thoughts are for the week. Probably the most important part there. Then you get key news for the week, the major headlines that are going to move the market. And of course, that's the expected news. You always got to keep an eye out for unexpected moves that'll move the market as well. But then you got earnings that matter. This week was focused on retail companies like Home Depot and Target. I think it's tomorrow morning. Then you get Tom's weekly Magic 5 stocks for your opportunity for the week. And his top 5 stocks that he's watching. And I believe CrowdWeave was one of them, or CoreWeave was one of them this week, if I'm not mistaken. And then special opportunities. This week was crypto related. You see IBIT in the back, or you saw IBIT a little bit ago, making a run. So it's really a lot of value for just $9.99. And it's all in a Telegram channel. We have a separate Telegram channel just for this.
Yeah, make sure, speaking of that, make sure you join the market newsletter, because I'm gonna do more and more. We're over, I think we got 320, according to that, 320 new signups for it. I'm trying to get to 500. And if you know anybody wants to know about the market, send them the link, tell them to join. You can't beat this thing. It's hot, hot, hot. Comes out after planning on Sunday night, sort of ties everything together after I've seen Monday trade and have a pretty good feel for the week. All right, to wrap things up today, we covered MTI by DTI. You can learn more or get it by going to that link and learn more there. Roadmap software, you obviously know I use it in everything that we do. The Genesis Algo was our featured product today. Again, learn more or just go buy it and get it done. T-Buzz Talking Trade, didn't talk much about it today. I've been talking everybody's ear off about it because it's a 24-hour look at the market. And again, learn more or go to DTI Trader. And then our weekly newsletter trade letter comes out on Monday afternoon. But a full course, and we got to see which way we shake, rattle, and roll. Market tried to go higher, was turned back at the key number, 68.69. And now we're about to wrap up RB4, and then we're at the lower end of that bar. So let's see if we can hold and put stuff together. So John, let's come back, last 2 minutes of do the math and put a link in there, and we'll come back to be with everybody right at 2 o'clock. 3 minutes. We're about midway of the bar, a little bit leaning, a little bit, but type in here, if you will, while we're waiting, the best thing that I covered today that helped you. Just type it in there and let me read it. If I covered anything to help you. You know, if you could say one thing that I covered you'd like to hear more about or whatever, that'd be great. "72-hour rule according to Sam. Hedging on call options. Looking at risk on days like today and how to assess." Thank you. The demonstration on the roadmap software. Demonstration on the MTI scanner. Put spreads. It's good stuff. It's helping me. What to look at when you're buying call options. The different colors on the MTI. That was good. I learned something there. Having discipline to keep your risks constant across trades. Yeah, trading amount per trade. See, this helps Jonathan and me to see what's in it. Using Genesis bar to enter trades. MTI by DTI and the roadmap. We covered some stuff, didn't we? Give you a chance to digest it and use it. That's the next step. Making sure you use it the next time you trade. Tesla's at 351. Is it an early sign it's going to lead this market up? Mark likes me going through the steps to make it clear. How about learning about the S&P futures and how the general flavor of the entire market's affected by that futures index? I think that's cool to me. In other words, if S&P started taking out 69, 75, 80, then your confidence would go off the chart that we're going higher. If you didn't know what to do, you could buy the SQ or TQQ. All right, it's 2 o'clock. Let's go back to the roadmap, go through the 7 sisters. Jonathan, let's wrap it up.
Right, we're looking at the S&P futures.
All right, if you look at that, looks like you got to get above 70 and stay above 50. That's what I take away from that chart. 70 and 50, that's a 20-point range. 10 up, 10 down. All right, NASDAQ. I'd say 21400 and 21475 on the NASDAQ. Okay. Dow's sort of trying to hold together. I guess the best thing, Dow's got to stay above 427.09. Trying to build a base. Now crude oil's leaking there. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, crude oil's going to give back some if it keeps going on that path, right, Jonathan? Okay, gold. That looks like it's trying to break out.
And here's bonds.
Bonds are just churning. Until bonds get above 115, they're just going to churn right now. 115 is a big number on bonds. Folks, it's been a pleasure being with everybody. Stay tuned. Market gets above that range I gave you, then we'll have something to do. But other than that, be very patient. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.